We are burning it up this morning in AirMiners in a perfectly carbon neutral way, or carbon negative way, I should say. Normally in AirMiners, we don't burn, we pyrolyze. Thank you very much. And today we've got a really hot show with our Kiloton Fund teams talking about the Kiloton Fund, how it closed, and a little bit about Shopify. So without any further ado, I'm going to leave you all in the very capable hands of Mr. Tito Jankowski. Tito, go for it.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Hot show. I love that. That's a high bar. Welcome, everybody, to the AirMiners Kiloton Fund announcement event. I read through the registration questions yesterday, and it's incredible to see. We've got a huge range of people here today. We've got participants from Fortune 100 companies who are like, yo, I need some carbon. We've got investors who are here, are looking to connect to some of the teams as potential investment. We've got people who are looking to understand, how do I start a company? How do I get funded by programs like the Kiloton Fund? And that diversity is so AirMiners. That's what AirMiners is all about. Of course, we have the AirMiners team here. Adina and Jason and Deborah are here. Hey. And the other thing I want to point out is we had 34 people pay for carbon negative tickets. So that makes this event totally carbon negative and more. It means we're removing more carbon for every person that shows up. Grant Faber from our community put together a model that allows us to calculate how to remove carbon dioxide based on how many participants there are. So that is $330 that are going towards even more carbon removal credits. And so from buyers, investors, innovators, risk takers, this speaks to the power of this community in carbon removal. You're all here making a difference. And you're going to make even more of a difference today. So buyers of all sizes, from Fortune 100s to $10 to $5 even, investors, startup founders, all here to reverse climate change. So at AirMiners, we exist to empower risk takers to reverse climate change with the goal of removing 1 billion tons of carbon dioxide cumulatively by 2030. So of course, to do that, we have accelerator programs, education, events, community, and now this new investment fund. We're backed by Breakthrough Energy, the Grantham Foundation, the US Department of Energy. And in our Launchpad Accelerator program, we've had 166 startup companies graduate today, all over the world to date. And they've raised $130 million and counting. And now we have the Kiloton Fund. So in terms of the agenda today, I'm going to be sharing more about the Kiloton Fund for about 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to bring in Mitch and David from the Shopify team. I saw that was really popular in the pre-event registration. People were like, yo, what's up with Shopify? So we're going to do that. And then we'll intro all the Kiloton Fund teams who are here. And we're going to do breakout rooms for about 40 minutes. So every team will have their own room, and you'll be able to go and meet them firsthand. So that's super exciting. I see Jenny is super excited for that too. Hey, Jenny. So let me tell you a little bit about the Kiloton Fund. We set out to build a new way to close the funding gap in carbon removal. That thing on the left, or on the right, that is a frowny face because funding is one of the key bottlenecks towards achieving that 1 billion tons of carbon dioxide removed cumulatively by 2030. And that, if we can solve that, that's what sets us on course for 10 billion tons of removal per year by 2050. That's how we avert the worst impacts of climate change. And for a stable climate, carbon removal is required, not optional. So when we set out to do this, we talked about what is possible if we close the funding gap, right? We make these investments, we build out a new model for funding. Startups get funding, they get credit sales, they get to grow their teams, they get the financing they need, and they start to scale carbon removal. That's what's all unlocked by this new model that we're building that complements equity. And that's how we get to billions of tons of carbon removed. And that's why the Kiloton Fund exists. For what it's worth, that's why AirMiners exists too. It all comes back to how do we reverse climate change and enable a healthy, stable climate and planet. We received applications from 120 teams all over the world. We picked out the best 20 through interviews and our diligence process. And we set up this revenue sharing structure to support their growth. And the way it works is simple. We invest money in the companies, and the fund gets paid back in the future when the companies remove carbon from the sky. So at a time when funding is harder to find than ever, we wanted to introduce this new approach to complement traditional equity funding, right? We see venture funds coming in and investing, and we wanted to be additive to that, and in a way that's truly tied to the success of carbon removal and supports our mission of removing carbon from the atmosphere. So AirMiners, I want to point out, is one of the few teams and one of the few communities that is capable of building something like the Kiloton Fund. And that's because of exactly who's in the audience today. In our community are buyers, investors, startups, people creating new companies. And it's this opportunity to triangulate between these three groups that made it possible to create the Kiloton Fund. This is really evidence of the incredible work of the whole team and the community at the intersection of these groups, building this deal and creating this deal together with investors and buyers and startups to unlock new capital and purchases that wouldn't have happened otherwise. It's very AirMiners-y as a thing to do. So we just made the announcement last Thursday. The Kiloton Fund yesterday was featured in Politico alongside Frontier's new batch of purchases. And I want to give a special shout out to Carbon Herald and Carbon 180 for sharing our story on their sites and in their newsletter. It's all been part of the journey towards empowering innovators and buyers and investors, risk takers who are making a real impact on the climate. So now I want to get to one of the questions that was most popular in the registration, which was, what's the deal with Shopify coming into the Kiloton Fund? And so as a bit of a background, last October at our town hall, we asked our community to help get us connected to buyers for the Kiloton Fund teams. I have this little Polaroid thing over there, right? And so we had members of the community reach out to new and existing buyers to make connections. So we were already connected to Shopify for context, but I wanted to highlight this as this is part of the action that's possible in this community when we ask for support and when you ask for support. We got into conversations with many different buyers and we're able to create this partnership with Shopify. So to tell you more, I want to bring in Mitch from Shopify to share his perspective. Hey, Mitch.
Hey everyone.
Hey, Mitch. Mitch is here.
Good to see you too, Tito. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped to be here. We're super excited about this deal, and I'm excited to share more on this call today. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm responsible for allocating the budget we've committed to publicly on carbon removal. We do that through Frontier. We also do bilateral deals outside of Frontier, and this is one of those bilateral deals. And Tito, you can skip to the next slide. So yeah, our goal here is not to get credits for a net zero target. It's purely to accelerate the market. So we have the best of intentions here. We've committed to over $70 million of carbon removal purchases to date. This is across more than 40 companies in our portfolio. And we stay pretty close to the companies in our portfolio post-purchase. We have a lot of meetings, and at the end of every year, we collect data from all the companies in our portfolio. And we use that to assess the state of the market from our view. We do it across these 9 or 10 development areas you'd see on this table on the slide. And 2 of the areas we identified as areas that needed support in 2024 were pre-seed and seed funding as well as venture funding. And this is funding mostly for earlier stage carbon removal companies. We saw a drop off in funding between 2022 and 2023 that kind of signaled that this is an area we need to get involved with in 2024. So when Tito and Adina approached us early this year to get involved with the Kiloton Fund, we were pretty stoked because we could continue to do what we do best and buy, but also put our name behind this new way of getting funding into the hands of earlier stage carbon removal companies. Tito, you can skip to the next slide. So how the deal works is it's pretty simple. We sign a deal with AirMiners, which we've signed now, and it's a $2 million agreement to secure a certain volume of tons. And then AirMiners will actually do a lot of the work for us. They'll go out and sign 20 deals with one deal with each of the Kiloton Fund companies on Shopify's behalf. And then fast forward to 2030, those companies deliver to Shopify and get paid. So yeah, like I said, this is really good for us because we have a small team and we get to hit 20 different exciting carbon removal companies with one purchase from ourselves. AirMiners does the diligence, AirMiners does the contracting, AirMiners looks at the registries these companies are choosing on our behalf, and AirMiners coordinates the delivery of credits to us. So it's a cool way for us to reach a lot more companies, and yeah, do what we do best and continue to buy. Next slide, Tito. And last thing I'll say is like this deal is a super good fit for Shopify as a whole. Like for those of you who are familiar with Shopify's business, our software is built for companies from the largest businesses in the world or largest commerce companies in the world, from Allbirds to Red Bull to Mr. Beast to Kylie's Cosmetics and more. But really the platform is built for everyone, all the way down to merchants who have yet to make their first sale. So we're applying that similar thinking to carbon removal. We're out backing the 1.5s of the world, the heirlooms of the world, the lithoses, the vaultids with large offtakes, but we're also doing deals like this to get money into the hands and purchases into the hands of early stage companies as well. Back to you, Tito.
Awesome. Thank you, Mitch. Super exciting. I've already heard this is making a difference. I heard from one team in their conversations last week at Carbon Unbound in London. They were like, look, this already is making a difference in our conversations with other buyers. So thank you, Mitch, and great working with you on this. Now we've got another special guest from Shopify here to share about another big step forward for all of us working in carbon removal. I'm excited for you to hear about it. And he has already been talking with Kiloton Fund Deals about this. And I want to bring up David from the Shopify team.
Thank you, Tito. Yeah, I wanted to introduce you all to carbon commerce. Mitch was talking about how we're eager to get funding in the hands of awesome carbon removal companies. We're also eager to get world-class software into the hands of carbon removal companies, and that's what carbon commerce is all about. It's a product offering from Shopify that's designed to enable credit suppliers to use our software to manage inventory, to manage customer relationships, and to manage payments with the same ease and simplicity that we've brought to so many other parts of the commerce world. So as the previous slide showed, we have a lot of brands on Shopify and not a ton of carbon brands. Kylie Cosmetics and Mr. Beast, these are not carbon credit suppliers. But as we've gone up market and as we've started to work with multi-billion-dollar companies and more public companies, really whale-sized commercial operations, we've had to build so much complexity and so much customization into our software that we now have ourselves a feature set that actually maps beautifully onto a lot of the really hairy pain points of carbon. And so, for example, inventory. Inventory in carbon is, as you all know, it's a wildly complex beast. There's projections, there's committed inventory against those projections, and then because it's carbon removal, the projections are bound to change, as reality intervenes. Then at some point, the committed inventory becomes sold inventory, and so there's just kind of a constant whiplash going on with inventory states and with what the numbers should say and how do we reflect the reality of the situation in real time. And Shopify's inventory management is built to absorb that complexity, to make sure that everything's accounted for, even as conditions on the ground change. And so you can keep committed inventory. There's inventory that's already part of a deal. Keep it part of that deal. There's no double selling risk, and you can add unlimited amounts of data to the inventory that you're tracking inside of Shopify. And so if you wanted to add registries or geolocations or delivery dates, verification bodies, etc., we are eager to work with you to turn Shopify into a carbon specific piece of software that's built we're going to bolt on carbon specificity on top of the incredible foundation that Shopify has underpinning some of the biggest brands in the world. So inventory management, customer management is another part of this. I mean, we are essentially a lightweight CRM. So I wish you all the complexity in the world down the road when it comes to having hundreds of buyers and customers that you need to keep track of, and prospects who are doing bigger deals. And that'll be awesome when we get there. In the meantime, Shopify has a customer relationship management apparatus that's going to be super helpful to reach that point. And so when a Salesforce or a HubSpot or whatever becomes an utter necessity, that's fine. Shopify integrates with all those. But in the meantime, there's plenty you can do to manage those relationships. Store if there's custom pricing that you have for certain customers, contact information, bespoke inventory opportunities for your preferred customers. Those are all things that you can manage inside of Shopify. And just to really want to stress the fact that we're not just talking about kind of like direct to consumer e-commerce style deals here. Shopify does do those. And so if you wanted to sell a $50 a month subscription for carbon credits in the same way that Climeworks has done, we do that. We can do that with our eyes closed, but we also can really power 5, 6, 7, 8-figure deals that range, numerous years and have all sorts of hairy complexity in them with vintages with different prices and years with different delivery amounts, etc. And so it's not just the whip out your credit card sort of deals that Shopify can power. And just as a for instance, Grassroots Carbon is one of the early adopters of carbon commerce, and the first deal that they did with Shopify was a 5-figure deal. It was not something that happened on a website. It was something that happened with the sales team, and they're using Shopify for the inventory management, the customer management, there's a lot of different ways to deploy Shopify. And Mitch was talking about how we really like to maintain a relationship with the companies we work with in the CDR space. The same would hold true here as well. We definitely be eager to onboard, to work with you all, stay close, and to make sure that you all are, if and when Shopify styled software becomes important, as the orders start coming in and the reserved inventory needs to happen, we'd love to have you all be using our software, and we'd be happy to help you do that. So that's my spiel. I'll leave it there, Tito, but certainly happy to answer any questions down the road as they come up for you all.
Awesome. Thank you, David. Great to see a new tool for carbon removal companies to sell their credits directly on Shopify. In the past, I've like one-off tons from teams, and it was always kind of more of a handshake kind of deal. And now they have this tool to be able to level that up and beyond. I was checking out some of the examples, and there's one team that's selling credits, and then you can they also have you check a box to say, hey, and here's what the cost is for the verification of those credits, and that's a separate cost. And it's really cool about a way to bring transparency to these purchases. So thanks for that. So back to the Kiloton Fund. When we originally launched this, hurrah, we said we're seeking 20 teams, and we had these 20 spots lined up, and so that's what we did. So I'm pleased to introduce. They're all here today. I'm going to read the names of each company, and I'm going to then wave at everybody, each of the teams as we go, and they're going to wave back. And hey, everybody, wave big because there's a lot of people here. And so for those of you staying in the breakout rooms and heading to the breakout rooms, take notes as you go. If in terms of I'm going to announce these teams, and if there's a team you want to go see, you can see them, and then you can go see another one afterwards. So keep track of all that. So first off, we are going to turn to AirHive. Teresa from AirHive is here from the UK. They're working on direct air capture. Hey, Teresa. We've got Carla from Biosora is here. Hey, Carla, what's up? You got the branded t-shirt. Let's go. Sell those on Shopify. You're in Kenya working on biochar. We've got Carbon Limit. Angel is here working on the utilization of carbon dioxide from the USA. Where were you? Are you here? Where are you waving? Hey, there you are. Good to see you. All right. We've got Kevin from Carbon Lock Tech. Kevin, where did you go here? Hey, Kevin, good to see you. Awesome. So Kevin's working in Canada on biochar. We've got Jenny from Gaia Refinery, of course, working on hybrid direct air capture plus bioenergy with carbon capture up in Canada. Awesome work, Jenny. We've got Matt from the Heimdall team. Hey, Matt, good to see you. That's they're in the USA working on direct air capture. We've got Aziz from Hive Geo. Aziz, where'd you go? Eva's here too. Good to see you. Calling in from the UAE, working on algae and biochar. Awesome team. Liliana, hey, Ben's got a killer background there. Working on ocean-based carbon removal in the US, and he's been making trips up to Canada too. So that's always exciting to hear about. Diana is here from Octavia Carbon, calling in from Kenya. Hey, Diana, great to see you here. Working on direct air capture, the world famous Octavia Carbon. Now we also have Philip from Flare. formerly called Carbon Atlantis. Hey, Philip, good to see you. And for those of you who are familiar with the Carbon Atlantis team, now they've renamed to Flair, PHLAR. They're based in Germany, working on direct air capture. Now, of course, we have Frank from Planeteers. What's up, Frank? Frank just this week received AirMiners Kiloton Fund and Frontier pre-purchase. So go, Frank, working on a new approach to enhanced rock weathering in Germany. We've got Pablo from Rubisco. Yo, Pablo, normally in Mexico, working on cleaning seaweed off of beaches, but today is in San Francisco. We got to see each other at the X Prize Santander Carbon Capital Summit last week. Good to see you, Pablo. We've got Joyita from Samudra Oceans. Hey, Joyita, working in Jamaica, the UK, Scotland on seaweed and biochar. We've got Alex from Scaled Carbon. Where is Alex? You must be on the second page. Hey, there you are, Alex. What's up? Good to see you. Working in the USA on ocean-based weathering. We've got Nate and Alice from Scape. Oh, I think I saw Nate on the second page. Hey, Nate. Oh, Nate and Alice, there they are. Hey, what's up? Good to see you. So they're here. They're working on storage and ocean weathering, cool combo, spin out of Project Vesta or Vesta. So if you've heard of that, go check that team out. Patty from CGen, formerly Seaweed Generation, now CGen. Hey, Patty, good to see you. Working in the UK and Mexico on seaweed sinking with their Pac-Man robot that eats up seaweed and removes carbon. We've also got VG from Cinco Labs. Hey, VG, good to see you. What's up? Based in the US and Portugal, and they're working on an ocean-based biomass removal and storage. We've got Thor from Sirona. Hey, Thor, OG air miner. Great to see you, working in Belgium and Kenya on direct air capture. And finally, Vidyut from Takachar, working in India and elsewhere on biochar. Oh, and I didn't mention, Sirona is working on direct air capture. So in Belgium and Kenya. So where'd Vidyut go? Saw him somewhere earlier. Well, hey, Vidyut, good to see you. Hey, there he is. Awesome. Raise your hand. That is the ultimate way to get up on Zoom. Great stuff. Awesome. And I see Jason, you've also got raised your hand. Are you a Kiloton Fund team?
So let's not forget Alkali Earth.
Oh, I did, and let's definitely not do that. Sean's here. Hey, Sean, where are you? Let me find Sean. Sean is here. Where'd he go? Oh, I see Matt is here too. Awesome. Great to see you all here. Thanks, Jason. Gosh, I must have missed them on my list. Oh, there they are. Yep. Well, great. I know everybody's excited to meet each other. There's teams and investors and buyers and innovators. And so we're going to jump to the breakout rooms. But first, I want to highlight 5 opportunities for everybody here to help remove 1 billion tons of carbon dioxide. So for new and upcoming buyers, we're hosting a Buyers Academy starting October 3rd. And that's where you can learn new ways to engage with carbon removal credits. It's free, it's online, it's led by Adina and Jason, who are fantastic, and you should totally be there if you're looking to neutralize scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions with carbon removal credits. And Mitch from Shopify is in conversations to be one of the guest speakers, so that would be really cool. For investors interested, so that's Buyers Academy, you've got the link there. For investors interested in learning more about, how did we pilot the Kiloton Fund? What did we learn from building out this model, from diligencing the teams? How do we do that? Email tons@airminers.com. Would love to hear from you and share the insights of what we learned about building the Kiloton Fund and accelerating 166 freaking companies through our accelerator. So would love to chat with you about that. For any startups in the crowd who are getting started, who have an idea, or maybe you have a bunch of ideas if you're at that stage, applications for the next batch of Launchpad are due November 14th. So you have some time to make some progress and get out there and pick an idea, focus on a particular direction. And of course, my favorite is Carbon Removal Day. That is a new thing. It's coming up on October 3rd. It is a global day to celebrate all things carbon removal and get the word out that carbon removal is required, not optional. That's led by Jack Sullivan. and dozens of people from the AirMiners community. And you can learn more by signing up at carbonremovalday.com. We also have an exciting announcement coming up next week during Climate Week, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to New York City for the announcement, so I'll see those of you who are in New York for that. And finally, here's a link for the post-event survey. We do this after every event, and we read your feedback. We love your feedback about what worked, what didn't work so well, so we can make these virtual events amazing. Now, I want to give a big welcome to all the teams that are here today. If you look around, you can see all of the founders who are driving this mission forward. And we'll have breakout rooms where you can meet the teams directly, whether you're interested in investing, buying credit, collaborating in some other way. This is your chance to connect with them. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Deborah, who's running the breakout rooms, where you can dive in and meet these incredible founders. You're going to be able to select, if you go down in the Zoom window, there's a box for breakout rooms, and you're going to be able to select the team that you want to talk with. Or you can unmute later and ask us to move you. And I see people are already moving, which is awesome. If you want to talk to multiple teams, totally fine. Go talk to one, then pull up the breakout thing and move to the next one. So we're done here in the main room, but the breakout rooms are going to be open till the top of the hour. Great seeing so many of you, and have great conversations with the teams in the breakout rooms.